Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the posting of the colors. Ed? Art? Please take seats. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Michael Romp from the 158th Medical Group, 158th Fighting Wing of your Vermont Air National Guard. Our honored guests today include the President and Chief Operating Officer of the University of Vermont Medical Center, Eileen Whalen, Dr. Deborah Leonard, Chair of the Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, Chris Oliver, Vice President, Clinical Services, Lisa Goodrich, Vice President, Medical Group Operations, Tanya Hong, the Director of the Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, the 158th Fighting Wing Vice Commander, Colonel David Smith, the 158th Medical Group Commander, Colonel David Jones, and the 158th Fighting Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Brian Marchessault. We have gathered here today to honor the phlebotomists of the University of Vermont Medical Center's Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine, who volunteered to assist the 158th Fighting Wing to medically process over 300 Vermont Air National Guard members returning from a 3-month combat deployment in East Asia earlier this year. A special thank you goes out to the University of Vermont's Medical Center and the 158th Fighting Wing's legal and leadership teams that helped craft and finalize the required memorandum of understanding in record time, less than 2 weeks. And we know how fast things move. That allowed this first of its kind collaboration. The phlebotomists were part of a team of more than 60 Vermont and other Air National Guard medical unit members from around the country that assisted to complete the post-deployment blood draw requirements for our returning members on 3 different days, all in record time. For the largest group returning, the team processed almost 250 members in less than an hour, allowing members to be reunited with their families within 2 hours of their plane touching down at the airport. This process has never been done so quickly and expertly. The praise and gratitude from the members and their families was unprecedented and continues even to this day. The speed, precision, and professionalism of the process would not have been possible without the support of the University of Vermont Medical Center members. On behalf of the Vermont Air National Guard, the 158th Fighting Wing, and the 158th Medical Group, we would like to take this opportunity to publicly say thank you, and we look forward to further opportunities to collaborate and interact with the University of Vermont Medical Center. Ladies and gentlemen, the 158th Fighting Wing Vice Commander, Colonel David Smith, and the 158th Fighting Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Brian Marchesell.
Thank you. Can you hear me, or do I need the mic? Can people hear me okay? Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank, if the phlebotomists that were on the team at the VTANG that day could please stand up, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much. I mean, we have a really strong relationship at the Air Guard with the hospital. And we were talking earlier, I know there's at least 3 of our members who are actually work here at the hospital as well that are in the room today. Maybe there's another one, but it's a really strong relationship. And this just, to me, really just set that and put it right out there so everyone could see and really truly understand the relationship that we have with you all. I wanted to, Colonel Romp talked about it for a second, but I wanted to just for a minute, just sort of frame the challenge we had. And we have some of the team here that actually helped pull this off. Lieutenant Colonel Laura Caputo kind of ran point on this endeavor. But, you know, basically, if you look at the Air Guard over, you know, really since 2004, we've deployed to combat operations consistently. Not every year, but just nearly every year over the last 13 years. And, you know, back in 2004, we deployed, the deployment would end and everybody would come home, and you basically, the families would run out and meet the deployed airmen, and everybody would leave. And then over the next week or maybe a month, and Edgar could chime in, people would come back in and check back in with the medical folks, and the deployment would be wrapped up. The requirements have changed over the years, and now we have a requirement when our deployed airmen come home, they have to check in with medical, and they have to do some other processing. So, you know, when our folks are deployed, we get them out the door, we watch what's going on, we're excited about it, and then when it gets to be a month or even 2 months out, almost as soon as this deployment left, we start planning, how are we actually going to bring people home? And get them home and get them to their families as quickly as possible. And it sounds really easy, but it's not. When you have 250 folks that are landing at once, getting off an airplane, and then having to funnel through and get blood drawn. So the idea and the memorandum that was signed and so quickly to just build up the team of phlebotomists, because really that was kind of the choke point, if you will, on getting folks to their families. So it was just a tribute to everybody that made that happen, and truly, and I know Colonel Tamila was here. I'll ask Toomer to stand up really quickly, but so Toomer, he was the deployed commander on the deployment, and I know I did, and Laura did work closely with Toomer, because what he's doing there with that team is, as the deployment winds down, you can have the most successful deployment ever, and if the return and how we welcome folks home doesn't go well, the deployment for our members that's what they remember. And, you know, we've got our traditional airmen who are part-time in the Guard and working full-time, and if a deployment ends up being a bad experience, it affects a lot. It affects morale and retention and those type of things. So it's really important to us. We work closely with Toomer, and he's working with his folks to try and manage expectations and get everything set up to get everybody home. So, you know, the way everything went to actually get folks in and out of the door, some people were out of the door in less than 30 minutes. I mean, they were in and out. And the impact that that's had on the families and the deployed members is it's huge. It's still talked about, and the challenge for us at the Air Guard now is to actually pull it off again. And I might just ask Stuart, if you had just a couple, from your perspective, kind of come into that, what you were thinking and maybe what you saw when you came in.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the deployment, to say it was a busy deployment is probably a very big understatement. I mean, we were 24-hour ops for 70 days straight, trying to pull off. It was trying to pull off something that was pretty difficult. And as we were going, I would talk to the folks and I'd go, "How's everybody doing?" Everyone's like, "Yeah, it's great. We're super busy, but you know, we're excited to be doing this." And I go, "What concerns does everybody have?" And they go, and the number one concern was, and it's coming to the end of our tour here. We're starting to get ready to go back home. But the number one kind of common thread between everybody was the in-processing. They go, well, all we want to do is we want to get home, we want to see our families. We miss them. We miss Christmas, we miss birthdays and holidays and anniversaries, and we really just want to get home. We want to get off that airplane, see our families, and then go. So we started talking, and I started having conversations with Colonel Smith and Colonel Caputo, and I go, hey, you know, the biggest concern that we've got over here is just this in processing and how it's going to go. And the reply was, don't worry, we've got some phlebotomists that are going to help out. And I said, whoa, we don't need a physical, you know, we just want to get back, because I had no idea what a phlebotomist was. So you know, we get off that airplane, and to see the phlebotomists there to help take the blood and make this the most painless recovery that I've ever done on any deployment I've ever been on is absolutely phenomenal. And I know the one thing that is precious to everybody is time. And to know that everybody here were all volunteers and stepped up and gave their time, so the time that the folks that were deployed could get back and kind of get back together with their families and shorten meant a lot to me, and I know that everybody on the deployment, it meant a lot to them too. So, you know, I just wanted to say thank you for all the time that you volunteered and all the time that you gave up to make it happen and to ease our transition back. So thank you very much. I know it seems like I know it seems that sometimes you do something and it's not appreciated. I will tell you, without a doubt, it was greatly appreciated by every member who came back, especially for me as well. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything that you did. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Cooper. So I think that really sums it up. So just again, thank you so much for what you did, for taking your time, for being there. The energy in that room was amazing on that day. So thank you, and we look forward to continued collaboration with the medical center here and the Air Guard, and keep sending us folks too. We need people. So thank you. And I think next, what I'd like to do is a presentation. So what this is, this American flag flew in an F-16 on a combat mission during the deployment. And we'd like to present this to, I think, Tanya here? Come up and I'll read what it says. It's from the 134th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron, Operation Inherent Resolve. This flag had the distinct honor of participating in operations over Iraq and Syria in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. Mission number India 1305. It flew in an F-16C Block 30, protecting freedom around the world via Green Mountain Corps. Presented to University of Vermont Medical Center, Department of Pathology and Laboratory Medicine. The pilot was Lieutenant Colonel Chris Caputo. So, on behalf, I'm not sure how we want to present this, but on behalf of the Air Guard, thank you, Tanya, and your team for what you did for us in a meaningful way. And I will yield the floor.
Whew, what do you say after all that? Something else. I have to say it's been the highlight of my career, and not just my career, but my life. To have been there that evening was something else. And also to be thanked and honored by we all honored so much is quite a humbling thing. So, and I'm so proud of all the people on this. They waited a very long time for that airplane, and the plane was about to land, and seeing them rush out there, just all the emotion, not a dry eye. So, I'm not sure I've much else to add, but thank you for coming. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, the 158th Medical Group Commander, Colonel David Jones.
So again, I want to give my personal thanks to Botanist. You know, this was quite an endeavor. As the medical commander, one of my jobs is to worry about the medical out processing, get people on the trip, and get people back home. And this was a pretty short notice deployment. I think we learned it in early November, and we had our add-on people already going out before Thanksgiving. So we had families that would normally be given upwards of a year's notice. They're going to be going on a trip. Suddenly, within a few weeks, learning they're going to miss their families for Christmas, some for Thanksgiving, miss New Year. And so we figured out how to bring these people back, where the normal in-processing would take 3 to 4 hours. And I was given this charge. We want to get these people in and out in less than 2 hours. So we put our minds together. We thought, let's get some Army phlebotomists, because we do things with our Army Guard colleagues. We were looking at other units, and I have a meeting every morning here with Mike Rom in the hospital, because I'm the director of the Fetal Diagnostic Center. So I work here, and he comes to me, and we're like thinking really hard about this. Georgia was there, and I said, you know, where can I get phlebotomists? and I looked around the room, and I said, whoa, I work in a hospital. Surely there must be a way. So you know how the chain of command works. The first thing you do is you kind of look up the chain and touch base with people on our base, and they said, well, just check with Washington. So I called the Guard Bureau, and they said, oh no, liability, don't know about that. Probably can't work it out. But I went to Mike Hawkins, you know, the head attorney here at the hospital, and he said, no, people who do volunteer work, our malpractice will cover them. So then I went to RJAG, and RJAG worked with Mike Hawkins and the team and put this together. So I think that this relationship, we've had a relationship with the medical center and UVM for a while. We've done a lot of work in the sim lab over the years, doing some training. And we certainly have members who are here who work at the hospital, and some who don't, who aren't here, who also work at the hospital. But this was an opportunity to show that the community and the Guard work together. You know, 2/3 of the Guard members are traditional people. We are the community. We live here. We work here. And to see our brothers and sisters in the community who maybe chose not to serve in the capacity in the military and come step forward means an awful lot for us. So I really want to say, again, thank you. It was an amazing experience. I didn't get to be the biggest one, but I went to some of the smaller ones, because then there were multiple of these returns, and the times would be changing, and then they'd be delayed. And the one I went to, the plane came in to make a landing, but it was went in too fast. I had to go around like, oh, so another delay. You have to circle again. You know, and you all put up with a lot of the uncertainty. And we know that sometimes when your free time is going to be giving up, you'll see, I can give up those 2 hours, but those 2 hours become 3 hours or 4 hours, and it's 4 hours on a different day. I mean, it's crazy. So thank you so much. And what I want to do is I want to present to all the phlebotomists who are here, and I have some extra ones to give out beyond that, the 134th Fighter Squadron Challenge Coin. Now, from my military colleagues, people know what challenge coins are, but there's a long history of special coins and special medallions in the military. Some of the oldest ones go back to the Roman legions, where soldiers might be paid for their daily soldiering, but if there was a particularly encounter of valor, they might be given a special medallion, perhaps with an insignia or a stamp on it from the commander, which they could spend as money, like their other money, but often would be kept as a token souvenir because it meant something special. And the modern challenge coin here, there are a lot of stories where that's come from, but perhaps the most popular one was that in World War I, after the United States joined the war, many of our young elites, if you will, rich folks from Harvard and Yale and other places like that, went off to have an exciting war, because that was such a cool thing. We don't think of war quite that way anymore, I don't think. But that was the place to go. And so one of these young officer lieutenants who came from a wealthy family was embedded with the French unit, and he purchased bronze coins marked with an insignia to give to everyone in his squadron to say, we're all part of the same team. And as it so happens, a few days later, this was a flying squadron. One of the pilots' plane felt trouble, was shot down, and was landed in enemy territory in Germany, and was captured. And he was wearing his medallion in a little pouch around his neck, and the Germans took all his uniform from him, took everything of his ID, but they left this medallion. And in a later bombardment from the camp where he's being captured, he managed to escape. He grabbed some civilian clothes so he could, make it through the enemy lines and get out, and made it into France. And it turns out that area of France had a lot of trouble with spies and saboteurs coming across, oftentimes in civilian clothes. And he was captured by the French. And they didn't recognize this American accent. I guess we didn't have Americans traveling quite so broadly as we do now. Maybe the era of the ugly American wasn't there then. So they looked at this guy, he's in civilian clothes, he's given a funny accent, a crazy story. They assumed he was a spy, he was set up to be executed, when someone recognized the medallion. And they put the execution on hold, and they said, what's this? Let's check it out. And it turns out, oh yeah, we know, he's from this special unit. It's this other guy. And he was saved. Instead of execution, they had champagne or something. So the idea that the challenge coin would be used as a way to show identity, to show who you're with, you're part of a team, and there are many other stories throughout World War II and the Korean War, and a lot of, we don't know exactly how much of these stories are true, but the idea that we have these coins now that show who we are and what we're doing is replete, and you'll find it big ceremonies, tag, or a commander will give a coin to someone for a job well done, or a way to say thank you. So I have about 18 or so coins, and I would like to present one to each of the people who are here today. I'll give you the rest, Tanya, as a way to say thank you so much, and you are part of our team. So please come up for a coin. Way you pass a coin to someone, it's done in a handshake. I'm leaving them in their envelopes just because I don't want to put fingerprints on. You're welcome to take them out yourselves, but I won't be the first one to dirty your coin. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We'll just stand here for a picture after.
I saw you drawing blood there. Well, I saw you there.
And it's Alex in the room. Alex.
Thank you very much again. Sure. Practice.
Bring this side up a little. Okay. Good.
The last thing I want to say is I thought it was important that we made a trip to the hospital to say thank you to you on your grounds. It would seem inappropriate for us to drag you to the base to say thank you for helping us out, particularly when we drag you to the base on a weekend. But we want to do something special for anyone who can come or wants to come. So the first weekend in June, it's going to be June 4th, is this Sunday, I believe, right? Third Sunday? I think the 4th is Sunday. June 4th is Sunday. We have a retreat at the end of drill where we bring down the flag to kind of close out the day. And we are going to do a special presentation with the whole wing out there in formation to present a flag to you or a representative from Phlebotomy. And everyone's welcome to come for that. But I think this gives the wing a chance as a whole, the men and women who were so helped by your service, to be out there and just give you all a round of applause. 900 people, 1,000 people strong. So if you can make it, I would aim to be at the base around 3:30 on June 4th. Retreat is usually at 3:45 or so, right? Maybe 3:45. And we'll send something out, just to remind you, but I didn't want to say, there will be something special at the base, but I understand it's your weekend, it's your free time, and I don't feel that you need to be obligated to come on your time for us to say thank you to you. But again, thank you so much again today. I think that concludes the remarks today. Again, thank you.